So let's recap a little bit. Up until now, you learned the viewport controls, you learned how to select your objects, how to go into the edit mode and the object mode, how to manipulate your mesh, extrude, move things around, and of course adding materials and colors and switching the viewport modes right here. And now it's time for probably one of the most powerful features of Blender, and that's modifiers. And you can find them right here in the modifiers tab on the right. Modifiers are an amazing way how to create things procedurally, non-destructively in Blender without modifying the underlying data. So again, as I said before, you have your object right here and you have the data. So the modifier attaches to your object and basically leaves your data intact. You can always go back and edit your model underneath, but the modifiers on top of your object will modify its appearance on the outside, if it makes sense. Let me demonstrate right now. Let's zoom out a little bit, because I want to distribute this sushi piece around and have 6 pieces on the plate. But to do that manually, I could right click right here and basically just choose duplicate object and try to place it somewhere in the world. But it would be really tedious to kind of find where to place it. And if I want to do this evenly, that's even more hassle. So let me just go back. And the better way is to use some kind of modifier. And for this, there's a great one called array modifier. So let's add modifier right here. And you can see they're organized in this tidy list. So let's go generate and choose array. So now immediately you can see there's a new sushi in place. And there are multiple options for the array modifier. And one of them is relative offset. So first of all, you can edit count. So right now I need 3 in a row. So let's increase that by 1. And now if you start moving this, you will see you can create gap in between them. So let's leave it like 1.2. And the other way would be to use constant offset. That would be in meters. So no matter how large your object would be, it would be always spaced as you set with the constant offset. So the relative offset is okay by now, but the great thing about modifiers is that you can stack them. So let's collapse this and let's add another one, and we'll add another array modifier right here. But now we'll reset the factor X, because you can see we were duplicating the sushi along the X-axis here. That's why we use the factor X. So let's set that to 0. And let's use the factor Y and let's set the same 1.2 there. And since this array modifier follows this one, it kind of takes the result of the previous modifier and works with that one. So with this modifier, we are no longer repeating just one sushi. We are taking 3 of them as per result of the previous modifier, and we are duplicating those. So you can see how fast it can be when you want to create like more difficult structures or something mathematical, something precise, geometrical. Modifiers are a really great way to achieve a bunch of different results. And now it's a great time to kind of go back into the object mode and the edit mode and to cement that knowledge that you are absolutely sure at any time if you want to use the edit mode or the object mode. So right now we are in the object mode. That means we are controlling this container object, and that means we can move it around pressing G, which stands for grab in the transform tool. It's called move right here, but you can see the shortcut is G. Then rotate for rotation and S for scale. And as you can see, it kind of behaves as a single object, even though there are 6 pieces of the data that we created. That means the modifier will adjust your object. So on the outside, it behaves as a single one object, and you can rotate the whole thing. As opposed to, for example, if you go into the edit mode and press tab, you can, for example, select everything. By the way, there's a great shortcut for that. You can just press A to select all. And if you rotate here, you will see you are rotating only the data of the model, only the single sushi, and the modifier and the result of the modifier acts according to that. Let me press escape so we reset that. So again, great difference between object mode and edit mode. With edit mode, you are editing the single data that's inside and that the modifier then uses right here. Let's tab out, and basically those are the sushi pieces we need, and now we'll need to get them on the plate, of course.